Yo, what's good, guys? One of my homies that I coach just got his first top 16, and then another guy that I coach also recently just got his first top 16 last week. So luckily, my boy DK got a feature match against Yost, who got third at Nats, Rayleigh versus UP. So I want to congratulate him as well as my boy Nanagoo, and also go over the feature match. Also, if you guys are interested, I do have a couple spots open for my coaching. I've had tons of people get their first tops, first serials, stuff like that. So links gonna be in the description for my Discord. Just hit me up. We have a coaching group. You get four group sessions a month, and then 4 individual sessions, and you also have access to the Metafy, which is really cool. So with that being said, let's get to the video. All right, so DK is definitely favored in this matchup. However, UP can sometimes just run away with the game. If they go second, especially, and take you off your curve, and you start a little slow, it's pretty easy for them to wall off behind the like the Nami blocker, behind the 25 Bagwas Giants, Gear 2s, those White Snakes, like Hell's Judgment. They play so many events, it's just absolutely insane. This deck is so frustrating to play against. And next set, we're going to play against a very similar style of just 6K leaders. So very excited about that. But let's see how my boy DK does. Realistically, you want to go second, and realistically, you don't really want to start with the buggy, especially going first. Looks like you just bottom deck 2 of the 3-cost Namis as well. Finding a Mole Gun, which is only relevant in this matchup to really deal with the 8-cost Luffy. So we'll see if that comes up right here. But yeah, definitely not a strong start from DK here at all. Realistically, you want to go, like a 2-cost Sanji, like a blocker Sanji, or the 2K Sanji. And then you want to go like Luffy plus Sanji, like the 3-cost Sanji, and then put a Dawn on your leader, swing 6, swing 7, 6, 7. But he started a little slow here. He's going to go 6 with the buggy, and then 7 with the Rayleigh. And realistically, the reason why this isn't amazing is because you want to build the tempo, right? You want to keep building bodies on the board before he has access to remove it. So you're looking to basically apply or build a board before he can God Thread it. Or something like that. And whenever I play against UP, it feels like they always have the God Thread. They have like the Gear 2 into the God Thread into the 8-cost Luffy, or even worse, Sanji into 8-cost Luffy. So we'll see how Yost wants to deal with this right here. I'm going to fast forward it probably a little bit if I can on Twitch, because this kind of takes forever. Looks like I don't think I can fast forward it. Baxter, go lay down, buddy. Go lay down. Sorry, my dog is begging for attention for a reason I do not know. Looks like he's going to start with a Bond Clay, Rampadon, swing 7 into the buggy. Definitely can't save that because you'd just be implying, or using way too many resources. This is usually the turn where you want to go Luffy into Sanji, just for tempo purposes. He's still at 3 life. Realistically, you want to drain as many cards from UP as possible. Instead of going tall, instead of going like big numbers like 8k, 10k, 11k, realistically you want to go as many 6s and 7s as possible to kind of just drain the cards out of his hand, because this deck can counter so much stuff going tall. Like, just swinging 15 is like 2 cards from their hand. They Gum Giant, go to 10, Bagua, ramp the Dawn back, and then 2k. So it's really, it's very easy to counter out of a big attack. Whereas you want to force them to counter out of these like really small attacks with these big commitments in terms of Dawn or events. Like there's nothing better than swinging 6 and getting a Gum Giant. It just feels absolutely fantastic. Starting with the bow here, definitely not amazing. And then going into the Sanji definitely doesn't feel great. So taking that turn off of tempo, it just, I mean, if this is the best in his hand, I can understand. But this is definitely not what you want to start out with as a Rayleigh player. So I'm curious to see how he's going to win this game. But shout out to my boy DK, man. His first top 16. I'm so happy for him. And then my boy Victor just got his first top 16 on Bonnie last week. So I'm just super pumped, man. A lot of the guys that I coach, I'm seeing them like have so much success and they're growing. And I just couldn't be more proud of them, seriously. In this game, if I do see some mistakes, I am gonna just point them out, because while I am proud of them, the job's not finished. We're not stopping until we get a serial for my boys. So looks like UP started a little slow too. I mean, going Zoro on your 7 Dawn turn is definitely not really what you want to do. 6 here with the Sanji does take it. This tells me if he swings 6 here, it tells me that he's definitely gonna Bagua. More than likely, having 3 Dawn up. It's a little scary. It's a little scary to obviously put them at 8 Dawn and give them their leader ability. If he has a way to not use his, if he has a way of like building a board without attacking, I think I would prefer to do that, because he would go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He would go to 9 Dawn, sure, but he wouldn't get his leader effect. And I think that's really important to slow down the tempo of Luffy, because he already got the attack off and he already basically, what is it called? He already did the damage, right? So if he can build a board, I think that is just so much better than putting him in the position to Bagua. Because sure, he can swing double 6s here. I mean, that's totally fine. But in my opinion, I think it's a little bit better to just build the board, leave your characters active, and then force them to have the response like a Mihawk or a Secret Luffy. It's not horrible, like I said. It's not horrible to swing the 6s, because he just Bagua'd, ramping a Dawn. So obviously now he's going to have his leader effect. So we'll see what he gets off his leader effect. But yeah, I probably would only do this if I was going to play like a Kid Killer or something. I probably would only swing that extra 6 if I was going to play a Kid Killer. So he's going to play the Sanji plus the Luffy. Then he's going to put the 2 Dawn from, or put the Dawn on from Luffy to his leader. And he's going to trash Boa, because Boa's just dead either way. And he's going to swing an extra 9 at life. Honestly, I think that's honestly not a bad turn. That's really not a bad turn now that I think about it. So I don't think it was a huge misplay. I probably wouldn't have done it personally. I would have just saved the Boa for a different time, but being able to swing 6 and then forcing him to use the Bagua is actually like a really big brain play right here. And this is why I'm so proud of my boy DK, man. My boy DK he probably played so good this weekend. But yeah, I mean, swinging 6 there and then forcing the Bagua out, and then swinging 9 when he realized the Bagua is gone, and he's obviously out of gear 2 range too. The reason the 9 is so good right there is because he's out of gear 2 range as well. So if he wants to counter out, he has to use gear 2 plus another card. So I think that's actually pretty strong. You can hear my dog drinking water in the background. I apologize, guys. My house I'm staying at right now is a little noisy. I'm waiting to move into my new apartment. Right now I'm staying with a couple friends, and definitely a little noisier than I would like it to be. But yeah, let's go ahead and read the board state right here. This is usually where the tide starts kind of turning with Luffy. Usually when they get to 10 Dawn and they have a decent amount of cards in hand, looks like Yost has about 7. Usually it starts to kind of tip to their favor, as long as the board isn't just completely overwhelming. For example, like Luffy Sanji, right? You know, plus a buggy or something. As long as the board isn't like that, usually Luffy can kind of get his second wind, or I would say his first wind, and kind of come back a little bit. And Baxter's drooling everywhere. So let's see how he navigates it right here. If I'm reading the board state correctly, DK has 4 life, so he's not in any worry of dying right now. He has a decent amount of cards in hand. Looks like he has about 5. He still has the mole gun though, and the only thing that can really punish, there's 2 things that can punish Rayleigh right here. It's the Mihawk and it's the Secret Luffy. Now, I would go as far as and say the only thing that really punishes DK is a Mihawk, because the Secret Luffy in this matchup, while it is fantastic, DK has the answer for it. He already searched the mole gun. Yost knows it, and he has to pitch a card as well. So for him to keep using Luffy's effect, he has to keep pitching a card, and it turns the 2 cards he draws per turn to only 1 card per turn. And if you have multiple attacks every turn, you're obviously finally officially draining resources from the UP player. And that's why this is a good position to be in, as long as he doesn't have the Mihawk. However, I'm telling you guys, every time I play against UP, bro, they always have like Sanji Mihawk, or like Sanji Mihawk, Sanji like 8-cost Luffy. It just feels so bad. Sometimes this deck just completely high rolls you out of the game. However, Yost right now, he's thinking really hard, so he probably doesn't have the Sanji Mihawk. I don't know what he searched off the Frankie, or off his leader effect. I saw him add a Frankie. I think that's probably what he did, but I don't know if that was this turn, or I don't know if that was like I don't even know. I guess it was the Frankie. I'm tripping. But God, he's taking forever to think. Jesus. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big hater on Yost because he was pretty disrespectful after he beat me in the feature match in Virginia Beach, and he was pretty disrespectful to DK whenever he won. He literally like whispered under his breath, from what I heard, that he's so fucking lucky. Like, oh, he's so like he's like getting like mad salty. I'm not a huge fan of this guy personally, but you know, it is what it is. I'm over here starting shit. Obviously this is gonna get back to him, but I don't really give a fuck. Like, he doesn't really like me. I don't really like him. It's totally fine. Everyone knows I'm not afraid to really speak my mind these days. But yeah, let's see what we got. I really wish I can fast forward this, guys. I'm really apologize, but I guess while we wait for them to figure out what he's gonna do, he's gonna swing 6 with the Bon Clay. Personally, I would definitely not take this because you're in danger of like a rushed Luffy, whether it be the 9 cost or the 8 cost. So I would definitely not take this 6 right here. I would just counter out. And now you're getting a little kind of punished by the secret Luffy. He's gonna pitch a God Thread, bouncing the Luffy back. I don't really like bouncing the Luffy back personally, because bouncing the Luffy back just gives you the ability to play another character for free. So why not just bounce the Sanji back? I'm not really understanding, because while the Luffy technically does have a bigger Dawn investment, it technically isn't, because Luffy can play something else as long as you reveal 2 events. And then it can give a rested Dawn to something else, right? So it's 3 cost. It's a 3 cost 6k technically, but you need Dawn attached to it to even become a 6k. So I don't know, man. I think that was a huge mistake by Yost right there. I think that was a huge mistake, bouncing the Luffy back so he can just play something else. I think the Sanji right now is just base like 6k. He's a base 6k and an 8k with the leader effect. Now realistically, what I would do is I would just Mulgun here minus the Sanji and then pop the Bon Clay, and then I would use my leader to swing into his Luffy, and then if he saves it, then use the Sanji to swing into the secret Luffy. But usually they're not going to save it because they realize it's just too much of a Dawn investment. So he's going to use his leader effect, and then he's going to do exactly that. Yep, minus the secret Luffy, pop the Bon Clay. This is an 8k Sanji right here, so I definitely, I definitely want to swing this into life for sure. After you swing with the Rayleigh into the Luffy, because the Luffy's only a 3 right now. So realistically, what you want to do is you want to swing like a 6 into it or something to like bait out counter or a giant, and then you swing 8 into it, right? But yeah, he's gonna go observation. Yeah, so you can swing 6 into it right now. Observation is gonna get what it looks like a Kid Killer is a target, and then an unblockable. Kid Killer is a good choice right here, I would say for sure. So he has a 6 right here. Is he gonna play the Kid Killer, or is he gonna replay the Luffy is the question. Does he have the event is the question. So he's gonna play the Luffy. Reveal 2 events, right? Oh, he doesn't have 2 events. Oh yeah, then that's a huge misplay then. Huge misplay, because I see the 2 cost Luffy in his hand right now. I see the 2 cost Luffy in his hand, so if he would have just gotten the unblockable instead of the second Kid Killer, because I think he has a second Kid Killer in hand right now, then he could have had Luffy into the other Luffy and had like more bodies to play. Because realistically, I mean, you're kind of getting the same amount of tempo either way. I don't know. I think that's pretty dangerous. I think that's pretty dangerous to take the Kid Killer rather than just take the event, get an extra 2k to hand, and then applying a little bit more pressure, because that Luffy with leader effect, the 2 cost Luffy, the one that gets rested Dawn, is a 7k, right? It's a 7k with base technically no Dawn invested, because whatever Dawn you use to like, you know, play Conquer, or not Conquerors, but like a Boa or a Kid Killer or whatever, Luffy takes 2 of it. So it's really a very low Dawn investment right there. Looks like he's going to get another secret Luffy. He's going to swing into the Sanji and then bounce the Luffy again. And he's going to swing 5 into life right here. Definitely counter this for sure. Looks like he has a Nami in hand. He has a Conquerors. He's going to pitch the Nami. Very scary pitching the Nami though, because realistically you kind of want to find a way to deal with this this Luffy. Having it stick to the board is definitely pretty rough. So looks like Yost is kind of swinging the momentum back in his favor. And then he draws a 2K Brook. So does he have the counter? He does. It looks like he has the event now. He has Conquerors and he has the Unblockable to Never Doubt. So what can he do with this? I mean, realistically, he has 10 Dawn. He can play the Luffy plus the other Luffy, the smaller Luffy. And then he can swing. He can like play a Kid Killer, maybe leave a Dawn up, or maybe 2 Dawn up, something like that. I wouldn't hate that. Of course, you're not targeting the Luffy here. If you have a Mole Gun, then you do target the Luffy, I think. You go like 7. You go like play Kid Killer, swing, or I'm sorry, Mole Gun minus the Luffy, swing into it. If he lets it go, then you just play Luffy. If he doesn't let it go, then you like play Kid Killer and swing 7 into it. That's probably what I would do, but obviously him swinging 6 here tells you he doesn't have the Mole Gun. So I'm curious what he's going to do. Is he going to play double Kid Killer? Is that the option? All right, so Kid Killer for 4, and then he's gonna play the Luffy. I would assume, right? Yeah, Luffy right here. Reveal the Conquerors and the Unblockable. And what are you gonna play? You're gonna play the Luffy. You're gonna play. Looks like he's gonna play the 2K counter Brook, to get the extra Dawn. He's gonna put all 3 rested Dawn on the Kid Killer, and he'll have one Dawn up, right? 2 Dawn up. Oh no, 1 Dawn because he put a Dawn on his leader. And then he can swing 10 with the Kid Killer. Ooh, he's gonna swing 11 with the Kid. I'm not a huge fan of this one, I'm not gonna lie. I am not. I love my boy DK, but I am not a huge fan of this at all. I think this should have definitely been like 8-8, and then just like leave 2 Dawn up for like a baiting a Rad Beam, and then baiting not baiting, but he knows he has the Conquerors. So yeah, I think this is like I think that was a little that math was a little scuffed, but. Hey, I mean, let's see. I know he wins this game, right? I know that DK wins this game, but we'll see how he does it, because this is definitely not an amazing position to be in for DK. I mean, he is at 2 life, so he is running out of time in terms of, you know, how close he is to just getting lethaled. I mean, with 1 Dawn attached, the leader Luffy is swinging 7, requiring 2 cards out of hand if he doesn't have any Dawn up. And then the other Luffy, realistically, is swinging 9 with no Dawn, because he can just get a rested Dawn and then bounce the Luffy back. So, of course, Yost has to keep bouncing cards, or pitching cards out of his hand to bounce the Luffy. But he's basically pitching 1 card out of hand to make sure the Luffy is like never attacking for 8k. So, I don't know, like DK doesn't really have a lot of time left in this game, because if what he can do is he can just swing 7 into the Kid Killer, and if DK decides to let it go, he's just swinging 9 at life and putting him at 1, and then he can put him in a position where he can basically lethal him with either like a Rush Luffy if they're playing it, the 9 drop, or you know, like leader plus Luffy. I mean, leader Luffy plus the secret Luffy is swinging like, what is that, like 12-12 or something? And I know Rayleigh can get out of a 12-12 pretty easily, especially if they leave a couple Dawn up. But I don't think DK has a ton of counter in his hand. I mean, he has the Unblockable, he has the Conquerors, but he's probably gonna pitch a couple of those cards this turn, because he's going to have to, you know, keep his life relatively healthy. I think a lot of this tempo kind of came down to him, you know, taking that 6k from the Bon Clay instead of countering out, and then being forced to counter out of like the 8 that he did with the Luffy. Looks like he's gonna bottom deck with the Nami. So whenever they bottom deck with the Nami, it's actually a really good sign, because sometimes like they draw the 3 cards with Nami and they put them all on top, and you're like, oh my god, this guy has so much fucking counter. Because obviously, you know, they for some reason the way they printed that card, you can just choose to just put them back on top. I think that's like really good. But when they put them back on top, it's usually a really bad sign. But right now, when they're just, you know, when he bottom decks the cards, it tells you he had a lot of dead cards in hand. However, drawing 3 cards and putting 2 back can kind of reset your hand a little bit. So now the information that DK has read is probably completely skewed now because of the extra addition to cards in his hand. I mean, just drawing 3 cards, it just changes the dynamic of your hand. You can go from completely brick to, you know, one of those cards can be a giant, and then one of those cards can be a 2k of the 3 cards you drew. And now you have a way to pitch a dead card from hand to draw 2, and then another 2k. I mean, it's really tough. So 7 into the Kid Killer. I personally would definitely protect this if I were DK, and the reason being is because you don't want that Luffy to attack into life. You want that Luffy to attack into the Kid Killer because you want as much time to end the game as humanly possible. So if you give 2 cards here to protect the Kid Killer, the Luffy is like he just like has to swing into it, right? He just like literally has to. And then he's going to use a card to bounce the 4-cost Luffy back to hand, and then obviously put a Dawn on the Luffy and swing 9. So I would definitely counter this to force the Luffy to swing into the Kid Killer here, and I think he's gonna do that. I think he's debating it, but you don't want to use the fucking events from your hand though, because you don't have anything to boost your leader up though, is the question. So he's gonna give him the conch plus the Luffy. Ooh, if it were me, because it looks like he's keeping the unblockable, I would have probably just used the unblockable, because Yost is not like, he knows you have the unblockable, so he's not gonna like play into it, you know. Like, I don't know, I feel like I was like a little sus as well. But now he's swinging 7 with the Zoro Joro, so looks like he's only leaving 1 Dawn up, which is definitely a good sign from or for DK, meaning your opponent only really has access to either 1 Gear 2 or a Gum Gum Giant. But yeah, definitely don't save that. I think he could have saved it, but I think it's smart to not save. I don't know, you could have saved it, but you're going so low in hand size that they could probably just like stall 1 more turn and then just kill you on the following turn. So looks like I think he gets a conch from his life too. That was a little lucky, I'm not gonna lie. My boy DK getting bailed out a little bit. Nah, man, DK, I really believe DK is a good player. You know, especially after, like, I think he was good before the coaching, but after the coaching he's definitely like cleaned up his fundamentals a lot, and he's just been able to recognize a lot of stuff. So I told him even before the tournament, I told the same thing to my other friend that top 2 last week. I said, like, you guys are on the precipice. You guys are so close to topping. You just need a little bit of like matchup, like luck. Obviously, you need, in every major tournament, no matter how good you are, you need some luck in terms of matchups. And once you get that, man, I feel like you're gonna see that you're a lot better than you think you are, because they were having some doubts about themselves, man. I'm not gonna lie. They were like, oh man, it's tough. In a lot of tournaments, it is tough, bro. You know, I've X3 dropped plenty of times. I've also gone, you know, X1. I have never won a tournament, unfortunately, but obviously I've gotten 5 top 8s total. If you guys are new to this channel and don't know who I am, I've had some pretty good success. Sakazuki, Doflamingo, Blue Crocodile. I was doing good with Rayleigh a couple weeks ago when I was playing in the tournament, but then I ran into Enel and then 2 Bonnies, and my tournament kind of ended, unfortunately. Bonnie's not like impossible to beat, and the same thing with Enel, but I played against a really good, both the Bonnie players I played against in that tournament were pretty good, and the Enel player just got like super lucky. He triggered like Okiku in his last life to basically win by 1k. It was... So yeah, you definitely need a little bit of luck in these tournaments for sure. Swinging 6-6 and then going with the Zoro is huge. In my recent list, I actually cut Zoro completely, but this is like the one situation where Zoro is just like really strong. Now, what's gonna happen is, I mean, Yost is running out of cards. He barely had any cards in hand from the last time that he played. Yeah, looks like he went 2k to counter out of the 2 6s. He's gonna go Boa here, search for a card. Realistically, you gotta search for some counter. You just like literally have to search for some counter in this position. I would search for the unblockable just in case you're put in the position to don't search for the Armament here. He already has like no cards in hand. I would search for the unblockable just in case he tries to take the Dawn, or I'm sorry, take the life with Nami to try to like preserve the Nami to go for lethal. That's what I would have done in my opinion. Swinging 6 here with the Rayleigh and leaving 2 Dawn up, I would assume, is probably the right call. I really like leaving this Boa up as an attacker. It kind of forces Yost to like, well, it definitely forces Yost to respect it. And with these bodies on the board, what's going to happen is, if you're reading this board state correctly, Yost only has a couple cards in hand. I'm pretty sure he has like 1 or 2 cards in hand left at this point. So what's going to happen is, if he goes for game, he has to ignore the Zoro or the Brook, right? He has to ignore all 3 of the characters on board, technically. He doesn't have to ignore the Brook, I would say, because he can just swing with the Zoro Joro. But if he goes for game, he's going to probably just like bounce the Boa back to hand with the Luffy and then pitch a card. And then what is it called? Boa can search for like a fucking observation hockey, and then observation hockey can search for another Kid Killer or another Zoro. So like you don't really want to bounce that. You don't really want to bounce the Brook because you get a 2K back to hand, and if you bounce the Zoro, you can just play it again and rush. So is he gonna take the 6 is the question. If it were me, I probably wouldn't take it if I had the counter to get out of it. And the reason I wouldn't take this is because like you know for a fact DK is running out of cards in hand. Or he's running out of time. Not only cards in hand, but he's running out of time. If you counter this, he has to find a way to deal 1 damage, and get through your blocker, to go for lethal. Whereas if you just clear his board, you go like, you know, Boa or Zoro swing into the Brook, you know, leader Luffy swing into the Zoro, and then, you know, rush Luffy swinging into life and then bouncing the, I think that's a huge mistake, honestly, depending on what his, if he had counter in his hand, I think this is a huge mistake. The Zoro, because you can just go Zoro into the Brook, leader into his rush Zoro, and then you can just bounce the Boa with the Luffy, or with the rush, with the secret Luffy. So if you just either counter or block with the Nami, you still have 1 life, and whatever you draw off your leader effect, and you're drawing 2 cards. So I don't know, man. I feel like that's a big mistake. If you had a 1K counter, I would definitely use it. But now he's in a position where he just has to go for game. He knows that DK has the unblockable. He knows he has the unblockable plus a 2K in hand. I don't think he has any other information other. Oh no, he knows he has the Luffy in hand as well. Looks like he's gonna go pudding, actually. That is kind of saucy. I'm not gonna lie, it's always such a gamble, bro. It's always so saucy when you just like pudding someone and try to go for game, because it's like with him, because he has the rush Luffy in his hand, right? Or he has the rush Luffy out, so technically the pudding only costs 3. So the pudding really, I don't know how many cards DK had in hand, but the pudding could really fuck you up, because this deck does play a lot of bricks. Like this deck plays like Kid Killers, it plays like you know, it plays observation hockey, it plays boas, like buggies. It looks like you actually drew like all counter too. That's actually hilarious, bro. That's probably why Yost was like talking shit like, oh, you're so lucky. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm like the king of crash outs. You guys know this fucking for a fact, but like I don't usually crash out at people in person, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta do what every cool person does and crash out like over their keyboard and be a fucking keyboard warrior. Because it's like, I don't know, bro, like in person it's just like you really like humanize these people, right? It's like if you're talking to people in person, you're like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. Or like if the guy's being a dick, like I can understand like talking shit to him, right? Like I'll talk shit to people that are talking shit to me, obviously, right? But DK is like one of the nicest people. He's like a nice little country boy. He's just a good dude. So the fact that he was like snarky to him at the end of it, I think is just disrespectful. It's mad disrespectful. He's gonna swing 7 and then he's gonna conk out, and then the math here is you definitely have to swing with the Nami. Like you're already committed to going for game at this point because you played pudding, so you definitely have to swing 7 with the Nami. The reason that you don't swing with the Zoro Joro to start out with is because you want to see how much Dawn you need for the Zoro Joro. Yeah, you want to see how much Dawn you need to like invest, right? So like 5 is just like a 1K, right? So obviously it like gives you information, so he's gonna go 2K 1K, and now he has to go for game with the Zoro Joro. It's just like you have to swing with the Luffy first, and the Luffy's a 7, so you have to go 7/7. And he has 2 cards in hand, and he has to get I think he has to get a 1K from life. That's actually hilarious, guys. He got the 1K from life. That's so lit. It's insane. But yeah, guys, if you guys are looking for some coaching, hit me up. Check out the link below. Also check out the link for the Metafy. I've had so many people get their first top 16, their top 8s, their prize cards, winning store regionals, getting their Nats invites, and honestly, the coaching really works. You know what I'm saying? The coaching really works. And like, so you got the 1K from man. That is hilarious, bro. That is hilarious, man. But yeah, man, I'd love to help you guys too. I got a couple spots open. I think like 2 spots, maybe 3. I'm not entirely sure, but just hit me up if you guys want to join the coaching group. We do sessions every Wednesday, and then we have individual sessions as well for you guys to do. So yeah, much love to you guys, and peace out.